Hi, this is Shirley, Assistant Professor from AI&DS Department at SRM Engineering College. Have you ever wondered how apps like Instagram, Amazon, or your college ERP store and retrieve your data? Behind the screens, the SQL is working. Imagine a register in a library where all book details are stored. In computers, this register is called a database, and SQL helps us manage it. Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to start SQL, structured query language, which is used to store, retrieve, and manage data in the databases. If data is stored, but we cannot search or update it properly, it becomes useless. That is why we need SQL. SQL is one of the most demanded skills in software, data science, and analytics. Let's understand it from the basics today. Okay, what is meant by SQL? See, the structured query language. See, it is a standard language used to store, retrieve, manage, and manipulate data in relational database systems. It means it is a standard language. It is used to for what we are using for now. It is used to store, retrieve, manage, and manipulate data in the relational database systems. So this SQL is mainly used in RDMS, where data is stored in the form of tables with rows and columns. SQL is mainly used in RDBMS. It means where the data is stored in the form of tables. In RDBMS, the data is stored in the form of tables with rows and columns. It is especially useful for handling structured data. What is meant by structured data now? Where the format of data is clearly defined. Here, SQL is originally based on two mathematical concepts, relational algebra and tuple relational calculus, which provides a strong theoretical foundation. This SQL follows an ANSI standards. Which means the basic syntax remains the same across the different databases. Which means the basic syntax remains the same across the different databases. The popular RDBMS that uses SQL include Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, Informix, and Sybase. One important feature of the SQL is that it uses English-like statements, making it easy to learn and use. For example, the statement delete table employee. It is used to remove a table named employee from the database. Just we have to know the basic English that delete table employee means which is used to remove the table named employee from the database. Okay. Then need for constraints. Now let us understand the need for constraints in the database. Constraints are rules, conditions, or restrictions applied on the database or data to control what values can be stored. What is meant by constraints? These constraints are rules, conditions, or restrictions applied on the database or data to control what values can be stored. They help restrict the type of data that can be entered into the table, such as allowing only numbers or specific formats. For what we are using these constraints now, they help restrict the types of data that can be entered into the table, which such as allowing only numbers or specific formats. The constraints are checked before inserting the data into the database. So, this invalid data is prevented at the beginning itself. Here, why we are going for constraints, these constraints are checked before inserting data into the database, so invalid data is prevented at the beginning itself. By enforcing these rules, constraints ensure the accuracy, integrity, and reliability of a database. If any constraint rule is violated, the database aborts the action, meaning the insert or update operation is rejected. You understood? If any constraint rule is violated, the database aborts the action, meaning the insert or update operation is rejected. Constraints can be applied at the column level where they affect a single column, or the table level where they affect the entire table. It can be in both column level or table level. It can affect the column, single column, or at the table level. Okay. Then more about SQL. Now let us see some additional features of SQL. First, SQL is not case sensitive, which means keywords like select, caps select, full caps, SELECT, full caps, and also full normal. Say select or also first caps and next letter should be normal alphabetic are treated the same by the database. Next, SQL statements are not dependent on text lines, which means A query can be written in a single line or multiple line without affecting its execution. See, the now next the SQL statements are not dependent on the text lines. This means a query can be written in a single line or multiple lines without affecting its execution. SQL also provide the best way to execute queries efficiently because the database systems automatically decides how to process the query. See, the SQL also provides the best way to execute query efficiently because the database system automatically decides how to process the query. Internally, the SQL works with different components such as SQL engine, query engine, optimization engine, and query dispatcher. These components work together to analyze the query, choose the best execution plan, and retrieve the required data in the efficient manner. These components means optimization engine, query engine, and query dispatcher work together to analyze the query, choose the best execution plan, and retrieve the required data in an efficient manner. Okay. And this diagram shows the working of SQL. It means first the user writes an SQL command or query such as select, insert, update, or delete. This SQL query is then sent to the database system. Then inside the database, the SQL engine analyzes the query, checks its syntax, and verifies permissions. Then the query optimizer then decides the best possible way to execute the query efficiently. The query optimizer, which used to decide the best possible way to execute the query efficiently. After execution, the database retrieves or modifies the required data. Finally, the result is sent back to the user in the form of output or confirmation. So, SQL acts as a communication medium between the user and the database. Then, different types of SQL. See, SQL commands are broadly classified into four main types based on their purpose. The first type is data definition language, also called DDL. DDL commands are used to define and modify the structure of database, such as creating or deleting tables. What are the DDL? First type is data definition language, also represented as DDL. These commands are used to define and modify the structure. It means the overall structure of the database, such as creating or deleting tables. What are the examples now? It includes create, alter, drop. We are going to just create. It means just modifying the structure, creating the structure, altering the structure, and also dropping the old table. Then the second type is the data manipulation language or DML. DML commands are used to insert, update, delete, and retrieve data from database tables. What is manipulation means some changes in the database inside the database, not in the structure, it is inside the database. Okay. DL commands are used to insert, update, delete, and retrieve data from the database tables. Common examples are insert, update, delete, and select. The third type is used data control language known as DCL. These DCL commands are used to access control the access and permission in the database. Example, it includes grant and revoke. It is used to control the access, giving the permission or revoking the permission. It means, example, this includes grant and revoke operations, right? The fourth type is transaction control language or TCL. This TCL commands are used to manage database transaction and ensure data consistency. Example includes commit, it is include commit, rollback, and save point. These are the example for the transaction control language. And also we can look detail about this four different types of SQL in the next lecture video. Thank you.